Next, we're joined by Dr. Rebecca Chavez, who served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Western Hemisphere Affairs under President Obama and Vice President Biden. Before that, she was a tenured professor of political science at the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, which we will not hold against her this evening. And she's currently a senior fellow at CNA and the Inter-American Dialogue. Dr. Chavez, good evening, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, ma'am, I want to start going back to your experience. You served at the Pentagon under President Obama and Vice President Biden and helped, put their combined national security and foreign policy vision into action. During this year's presidential primaries, you served as a senior foreign policy advisor to Senator Harris's campaign. When it comes to issues of national security, particularly foreign policy, how does Senator Harris view the world, and why do you believe that her approach will keep us safe and also advance our interests as a nation?
Well, thanks for the question, Will, and thanks to you and to VoteVets for organizing this event. I'm super excited about the debate, and I know that Senator Harris is going to do a fabulous job. And I think what she's going to do is she's going to remind us that she's ready to lead our country alongside Joe Biden starting on day one. And I will also say that serving as a foreign policy advisor to her was really one of the highlights of my career. She's got what it takes. I mean, she has the vision, she has the smarts, she's got the instincts and the values that are needed to help Joe Biden restore our standing in the world. But to your particular question, when it comes to her foreign policy views, they're very aligned with those of Vice President Biden. And I think I'm going to give you my answer in two parts. One has to do with US policy on the global stage, sort of traditional foreign policy. The second piece, which I believe in today's world, after 4 years of Trump, is as important, and that is Senator Harris's recognition that what happens here in the United States impacts our national security and also our ability to conduct sound foreign policy. So starting with the international front, Senator Harris, she's been very consistent in her emphasis of the need to rebuild our diplomatic infrastructure, including the State Department, which the Trump-Pence administration has tried to gut. She has committed to putting diplomacy back where it belongs, the centerpiece of our global engagement. She's also been crystal clear in her rejection of this administration's unilateralism and its bullies that have really alienated our allies and, really hurt our own well-being and security. And finally, Senator Harris will work with Biden to renew and strengthen our partnerships, which she knows are vital for our national security. I have no doubt that together with this dream team, they're going to be able to mobilize the community of democratic nations for collective action. And collective action is what we need, given the nature of the most urgent security threats that we face today. I mean, these are complex threats that transcend borders, pandemics, climate change, nuclear proliferation, irregular migration, and even the rise of authoritarianism. So we need these alliances to build back better on a global scale. When I look at Donald Trump and Mike Pence, they would not do this. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will. And just really briefly on the domestic piece, and that is this recognition that what happens domestically absolutely impacts our ability to advance our agenda abroad. And here I'm going to use the example of democracy and the rule of law. When I look at the state of our democracy under Donald Trump, it's almost as if he took a page from the playbook of a Latin American caudillo, a Latin American dictator, one of these strong men. In many ways, you could compare him to Hugo Chavez of Venezuela on the left, or Jair Bolsonaro of Brazil on the right. This administration has attacked the independence of democratic institutions that uphold the rule of law. They've called the press the enemy of the people. They've called on the military to supplant law enforcement. I could go on and on this, but the bottom line is that we can't advance democracy abroad until we get our own house in order. And that is something that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris can do.